Welcome to this week's virtual drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege to be Parshas Nasso, and contained in this magnificent parasha is the section of Birchas Kohanim, the priestly blessing. We know that ultimately, again, Kahuna is given over to Aaron and his sons, and it was given over to Aaron and his sons because of the unique attribute that Aaron possessed of Avas Yisrael, of a love for every single Jew, an acceptance for every single Jew. Aaron HaKohen personified and embodied this midah and was able to embed it in his very DNA, in his very genetic makeup, to the point that that midah of Aaron, that love of Klal Yisrael, is passed down throughout the generations through his descendants. And therefore it is incumbent upon the Kohanim, as we say in the bracha, levarech es amcho Yisrael bi'ahava, to bless Klal Yisrael, but not just to bless us with incredible love. And it's these brachos that are contained in this week's parasha, in Perek Vav, in chapter 6, verses 22 through 26, Chav Beis through Chav Vav. The Torah says as follows. Hashem says to Moshe the following, Daber al Aaron v'al or speak to Aaron and his sons, say the following, Kol sivar chuas b'nei Yisrael, this is how you shall bless the Jewish people, and more lahem, say unto them. The Torah then goes on to recount the actual text of Birchas Kohanim. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yaseim lecha shalom. We're not going to get into the translation of the words, or the meaning of the words, but how incredible is it to think that every single time we are privileged here at Duchani, in Eretz Yisrael might be every day, here in Chutz La'aretz, again, Yom Tiv, just the Yom Tov of Shavuos, we have the great schus to be blessed by the Kohanim. And how amazing, how overwhelming is it that the very formulation that the Kohanim used to bless us, the rest of Klal Yisrael, is the same exact formulation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Moshe. The same eternal formulation that is embedded in Parshas Nasso, embedded in Torah Kedosha. What a shalshalas, what a chain, what a connection there is between the generations. From beginning to end, Kohanim will always bless Klal Yisrael with these same words, with these same phrases, with this same beautiful bracha. But the Dubna Magid, Zecher Tzaddik v'Kodesh Navracha, makes an interesting observation. The Magid says, if you look at that pasuk, and again, this is pasuk Chav Gimel, so chapter 6, verse 23, let's look at it once more. Daber al Aaron ve'al banav lemor. Go ahead and speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, so far so good, Kol sivar chuas b'nei Yisrael, this is how you shall bless the Jewish people, Amor lahem, say to them. And the Dubna Magid says, that last phrase, Amor lahem, is redundant. It's unnecessary. You already said, Kol sivar chuas b'nei Yisrael, this is how you shall bless the Jewish people. Put a period right there. Right, put a period right there. That's the end of the sentence. And then next sentence, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, so on and so forth. What's the meaning of the phrase, Amor lahem, say unto them? And the Dubna Magid says something absolutely beautiful. He says, Amor libnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people and tell them, Sheyiskonenu lekabel es habrachos. Ultimately, again, that they should prepare themselves to go ahead and accept and receive the brachos. Meaning what? Amor lahem, sheyishtadlu lihios re'uyim u'muchsharim lebrachos u'letovat zafuna bahem. Tell them to ready themselves, to prepare themselves, so that they're able to go ahead and receive the brachos that I, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, want to convey to them. See, before we delve into the Magid, the way the Magid understands the pasuk, Daber al Aaron v'al banav le'mar Moshe. You speak to Aaron and his sons, saying the following, and tell the son, Aaron and his sons, Kol sivar chuas b'nei Yisrael, this is how you shall bless the Jewish people, Amor lahem. Amor lahem, the Dubna Magid says, is Hashem saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, you also have to go back and tell the Jewish people something. Just like you're going to tell the son, Aaron and his sons, how to bless the Jewish people, the formulation for blessing, all of the halachos concerning the blessing, so too you have to tell the Jewish people about the blessing. And what do you tell the Jewish people? That they need to make themselves into the type of kalim, into the type of receptacles, which are capable of receiving blessing. Let me give you a mashal. I've used this mashal a number of times in past years, but it resonates with me. It used to be a number of years ago. They had come out with an interesting invention, which was a coffee cup that had internal heating coils. Now again, I am a I don't know what the right word is, the opposite of a recreational coffee drinker, a habitual coffee drinker, right? So I drink a lot of coffee. And the truth is, to me, the biggest problem with drinking coffee is, unless you chug it, it takes time. By the time you get around to it, it's cold already. You can imagine my delight at hearing that there's such a thing, there's such a zach as a cup of coffee, as a coffee cup with coils inside of it. Keep your coffee hot no matter how long it takes you to drink it. So imagine for a moment, now when they first came out, they were understandably so very expensive. Imagine you walk into the store, you find the coffee cup, and to your great delight, it's on the clearance rack. Incredible. So it used to cost $50, and now Baruch Hashem for $10. You can go ahead and buy it and no problem. Well, generally, if something's on clearance, there's usually something going on, right? There's no free lunches, right? And nothing just goes on clearance. So you realize on the bottom of the cup, there's a little hole. There's a tiny little hole. So remember again, a sale is a sale, right? And a metzia is a metzia. So what do you start clearing? Well, it's a little hole. If I drink really quickly, the liquid won't get out, and I have whole drishas, v'chakiras. Why the hole? But at the end of the day, right, cooler heads will prevail and realize, you know what? It doesn't make any sense to buy a coffee cup with a hole in the bottom, even if it has the coils, even if it's monogrammed, even if it comes with a year's supply of free coffee. It doesn't make sense. Why? Because a cup that has a hole on the bottom cannot retain the contents poured within it. And the Dubna Magid says something absolutely amazing. He says, so often in life, the Ribono Shel Olam wants to give us bracha. He yearns to give us bracha. As Chazal say, more than the child wants to nurse from the mother wants to express the milk to her child. Because if she doesn't express it, it's painful. And Chazal use that as a metaphor for our relationship with Hashem. We want to nurse, right? I want bracha from Hashem. And Chazal are telling us that you think you want to nurse? You think you want the bracha? More than you want it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to express it. More than you want it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to convey it. More than you want it, more than you want to receive it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give it. But the problem, says the Dubna Magid, is that sometimes I'm just not capable of receiving. Sometimes my personalistic kli, my personalistic utensil, is in a state of disrepair. And what happens when the personalistic utensil is in that state of disrepair? No matter how much you pour in, either it's just not going to get into the kli, it's not going to get into, or when it comes in, it just goes right out. It's like that beautiful coffee cup. I bring it home because you know what? Again, a sale is a sale. I got it on clearance. It's great. I'm pouring my coffee in. And again, I realize very quickly, whatever goes in comes right out. The coils are useless. The beautiful mug is useless because there's a hole on the bottom. And if the utensil can't retain the contents, then at the end of the day, you could pour as much delicious coffee, as much beautiful bracha, but it just simply flows out of the kli. The Ribono Shel Olam wants more than anything to convey blessing upon us. But in order to be able to receive divine blessing, my personalistic utensil has to be in tip-top shape. If there are holes, right? If there are cracks, if there are pieces that are missing, Hashem's showering the bracha, but I just can't retain it. Dubna Magid says, and it's such an incredible idea, sometimes in life, we don't get what we want. And so, we struggle. Here I daven to Hashem, I asked him for something. And when I read this Dubna Magid, I realized something incredible, which is sometimes in life, we get exactly what we want. The problem is not getting what I want or what I need from Hashem. The problem is retaining it. Without even realizing it, so often brachos flow into my kli, they flow into my utensil. But the problem just is, they're pouring right out because I'm broken, because I'm not really in the state of repair to be able to hold on to the beautiful divine blessings that Hashem gives me. It's true, sometimes Hashem says no, and the blessings don't come. But sometimes the blessings do come, but I'm just not capable of holding them, of retaining them. There's so much bracha in the world, and so much bracha that Hashem is trying to give us, and so much that Hashem wants to shower upon us. God could be the giver. The one thing God is not going to do, He can do it. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses not to do it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses not to fix my kli. That is up to me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to shower great blessing upon you, but the kli, that is up to you. You have to decide to make it whole. And says the Dubno Magi, that's the pshat in the pasuk. Daber el Aaron ve'albanav leimar kosav aruchu es b'nei Yisrael. Moshe, go and tell Aaron and his sons to bless the Jewish people. Incredible, tell them to bless. And then Moshe, as soon as you finished with b'nei Aaron, amor lahem, run to Klal Yisrael. Say, Klal Yisrael, bracha is coming. Beautiful bracha is coming. Ready yourself. Prepare yourself. Make sure that your kli, that your personalistic utensil, is capable of receiving the deluge of blessing that is coming your way. Because, dear friends, all too often in life, beautiful blessing is being directed towards us, and we're just not able to see it. And if we're able to see it, we're just not able to hold on to it. And Dubno Magi teaches us this magnificent life lesson. It's important in life sometimes to take a step back and to look at my kli. Right? Let me look at my utensil. How am I doing? And the truth is, very often when I look at my kli, there are parts of it that are very beautiful, parts of it that are really incredible, parts of it that I'm very proud of. But there are cracks, and there are holes. And sometimes there are pieces of it, have been crazy glued on, and they just don't really look that right. If I'm honest with myself, there are pieces of my personal kli that are in a state of disrepair. It behooves me to fix it. So many times what we just do is, when we look at our personal utensil, our personal kli, if there's a crack or there's a hole, you know what I do? No problem. I just turn the kli around. Problem solved. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. So let me just turn the utensil around. The crack is on the other side. The hole is on the other side. Everything is perfect. It's fantastic, except that it's not. Except the hole is still there. The crack is still there. And understand, who am I hurting by not repairing my personalistic utensil? It's not going to have an impact on you. It's not going to have an impact on this. It's not hurting anyone. It's putting me at a disadvantage because it's preventing me from acquiring and retaining all of the beautiful things that my Father above wants to give me. Let's find the courage to, number one, identify the cracks in the personalistic kli. Let's then roll up our sleeves, do the necessary work to fix those holes, to plug those holes, to fix those cracks, to repair the kli. And then rest assured that the Ribono Shel Olam has so much bracha He wants to send our way. But now I know, once that kli is repaired, that once it comes down, I'll be able to receive it, I'll be able to retain it, and I'll be able to maximize it, Emir Hashem, for many years to come. Wishing everyone a good Erev Shabbos and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.